felt a subtle call to adventure that caused them to yearn for something far away and as yet unknown. Demeter loved her daughter more than anything or anyone, cherishing her and doing everything she could to keep her safe. But one day, while Kore was off picking flowers in a meadow with her friends, Demeter left to take care of some business with other goddesses. She returned after a short time, only to learn that Kore was nowhere to be found. Her playmates told Demeter that Kore had wandered off and had not been seen since. Demeter asked everyone in the vicinity if they had seen Kore or knew where she was, but no one would admit to any knowledge of what had happened. Distraught and worried, as any parent would be, Demeter feared that Kore had been killed, raped, or kidnapped. For days, Demeter did not sleep or eat or bathe as she searched frantically for Kore, following ever-widening paths that led her further and further from home. Finally, Demeter encountered Hecate, the goddess of the crossroads, who was also known for the depth of her wisdom, which was especially relevant in times of choice or when someone was at a loss for where to go or what to do. A very ancient goddess, Hecate was one of the few who, along with the Fates, appeared to other gods and to humans in the guise of an old woman. Closely associated with the moon and its phases, she saw better at night, like an owl or a cat. Her hearing, however, was always acute, even catching whispered secrets that traveled to her in the wind. When Hecate recognized the depth of Demeter's maternal grief, her own heart was touched, and she told Demeter that she had heard Kore cry out, and she believed that Kore might have been abducted. Hecate suggested that she and Demeter visit Apollo, the blazing sun god, who, from his position in the sky, may have seen what transpired. Gratefully, Demeter accompanied Hecate up into the sky to see Apollo. Now, Apollo was a favored son of Zeus, and often served as his emissary. He dutifully explained to Demeter that she need not worry. Kore had become the wife of a prestigious god, Hades, who ruled one of the three major realms of the world. Of course, Demeter well knew that Zeus ruled the sky and the surface of the earth, Poseidon, the seas, and Hades, the underworld, where the dead reside. But she listened politely so as not to offend. Apollo went on to assure her that all was well. Hades had asked Zeus for Kore's hand in marriage, and after all, Zeus was her father and had the right to decide whom she married. Hades was a dark and handsome god, rich beyond measure, with a mischievous turn of his lips that women adored. He had loved Kore since he first saw her, but had repressed his growing desire until she was pubescent, and thus of age. When Hades appeared before Zeus, he was lit with passion and trembling with eagerness to hold his beloved. Zeus thought it better to have Hades marry Kore than ravish her unwed, as he feared might happen given what he was seeing. If that were not enough, Zeus knew that Hades had always resented how he, Hades' younger brother, had become chief of the gods, supplanting his older sibling. Zeus had to manage Hades carefully so that he would not stage a rebellion. So all in all, Apollo continued, it was a wise decision for Zeus to bless the marriage then and there. So when was this marriage ceremony? Hecate asked a bit provocatively, since all the gods should have been invited. Ignoring that question, Apollo explained that Hades had convinced Aphrodite of the depth of his love for Kore and asked her to help him woo her. Aphrodite placed the most beautiful flower anyone had ever seen near the meadow where Kore was playing with her friends. Kore saw this flower in the distance and became so entranced by it that she wandered away from them. She bent over to pick it, but found that she had to pull it hard, and when she did so, the earth opened up and Hades, on his chariot, bounded out of the depths, swept her up in his arms, and carried her back to his underworld kingdom. Learning this, Demeter feared that, although Kore was alive, she would be scared, upset, even traumatized. Certainly she was unprepared for sex, especially with someone she did not yet know and who had violated her sovereignty by roughly carrying her off against her will. Kore was a young girl after all, still really a child, although her body was becoming more womanly. As Demeter ruminated further about this, her worry was matched by her anger at Hades, but even more so at Zeus, who should